Hello, listeners. This is Niven. I'm addressing you directly outside of the normal format of the podcast. We had some recording difficulties with the previous episode of the actual play, so I thought I should give a quick summary or recap of events. That way, if you couldn't muddle through it or it was hard to understand, then you would at least know what's going on going into this play session. So, the clan had declared war, and our players got roped into that. Kathea is technically a Thane or a war leader, or at least a professional warrior for the tribe. Quite young, but still in that career track. So she was given the opportunity to raise a war band in service of the clan's war chief or head Thane to pursue military goals. She roped in her older brothers Durdast and Kalor, as well as her cousin Soinnarios, the other player character, of course, and also Elindor, who has gone on most of their adventures with them, and Arkora. Arkora is probably the only one we haven't talked about at all yet, and he is an Odalin, so he worships the Storm Bear. He's a hunter and kind of a heavy skirmisher. Kathea and Soinnarios have generally not taken him along because he tends to just roar and charge the nearest target and then doesn't retreat. So he has limited utility in a lot of more complicated fights, but in something fairly straightforward like this, I thought he would be useful. So they head out with the rest of the army. The clan has assembled its Feared, which is a mix of its militia and its professional warriors, with the intention of just seizing Mandarin land. And what they do to do that is just walk forwards, move up the old border markers, and just take all the land they want, and then set their border markers down again until the Mandarin submit. The Mandarin are already at war with the tribe. They're having a hard time of it. The players' clan feels like they have a good chance here to seize land that they've traditionally kind of been arguing over. So that's what they try to do. So the Feared moves out. Soinnarios and Kathea, their warband, is assigned a mission to scout, essentially go out and look after this large stead, which is like three halls, longhouses connected together by a fence, to see if it's defended, and if it's not very well defended, they can try to take it, but they also can just retreat if things look too tough. Like, they're just supposed to be kind of checking things out and making advantages where they can. So they ride off to do that. When they get there, Kathea spots an ambush being set up from like basically the hayloft, and she shoots a fire arrow at the target and hits him in the head, which kills him instantly, and drops him to the ground. And then the fight kind of evolves from there, with Durdast and Kathea sort of staying on their mounts and providing missile fire at one of the steads, while Soinnarios basically shoulder tucks into her shield and smashes through the door of another stead and gets into a fight with Kalor and the others supporting her. She duels the head of this household in the longhouse, while her supporting NPCs kind of take apart the other defenders, and then the leader surrenders. While that's going on, Kathea shoots another person in the head and kills him too. She has a long history of headshots as a player, and this just kind of continues to see that through. So at this point, with the surrender of the household, Kathea has killed 2 people, successfully carried out her first leadership goal as a Thane, when they've seized this household. And that's kind of, they start to try to figure out what to do with the hostages that they've taken, because they've captured all these, like some of the people who fought that they didn't kill, some of the people who surrendered, and then there's also just non-combatants there, like children, older women, things like that. So that's sort of what happened. I know that's a pretty brief overview. If you can go back and listen, you probably get a little more detail out of it, but I understand, with the audio being what it was, that's kind of hard to do. So anyways, with that, we'll head you off into the episode proper, and I hope you enjoy it. Thanks. Hello and welcome back to the Aldature campaign. This is episode 4, session 3. I'm Nenevin, your host and DM, and with me are Soinnarios. Go ahead and say hi.
Well, hello.
And Kathea.
Hello.
Cool. So last time we all 3 were together, we had just finished a raid on a place called Three Hallstead, and you had taken quite a few captives and also a wound, I believe. One of you got hurt.
Yep.
Before we get too deep into that, having looked back a little bit, Soinnarios, we had talked in the first episode about, like, what do you want to do during downtime? And you had mentioned casting your Blessed Crops spell. And then when we actually did downtime, I think we both forgot about it. Do you know who you wanted that to go to?
I think the safe bet is I thought about doing it for my cousin Galore, but then I
Okay.
kind of got thinking about it, and that might not be the best idea because I think the feeling I got from family politics, from my mother especially, she doesn't
Right,
scare
that's
me.
fair. Okay,
Uh,
so if we're not sure what to do, I'm just gonna put a pin in that then. It doesn't matter until sacred time when we actually calculate how the harvest went. It's just, and since we already know you allocated the spell and then would have gotten it back, we can just cover it whenever we have some downtime. So I'll just leave a note.
well, my thought is seeing if there were some maybe Carls or whatever that were newer ones or had a smaller area that worked our allotment of the land for us and cast it on them as kind of a internship or way to prove myself. So
Okay, so you were just gonna cast it on like familial held lands or family held lands.
yeah.
Okay.
I would have encouraged the other, but just
Oh
ignore me.
nope, I brought it up with my mother and she gave me a look. And
There you go. If you want
You
to
can't
direct,
react. You can't react when your mom gives you a look.
if you want to direct fertility spells, you join the wrong cult.
How many people did we end up killing last time?
2.
What,
And we say
both
we,
me?
but we mean you. Yeah.
yeah, I didn't kill anybody.
I was trying to be inclusive.
Right. And we're gonna pick up and start to cover that. Okay, so in the
I'm just taking-
immediate aftermath of this attack, right? You two raided this stead or steading, steed, however you want to say it, and captured it. And now you have a wounded party member in Soinnarios. You have several badly wounded fighters, and as well as 2 dead enemies. And then you have a fair number of hostages. So a few of those are people who surrendered fighting, and then a fair number of them, like 8 or so, are people who are non-combatants, so elderly, children, women who weren't involved in the fighting, basically. So I know that Kathea was going to go back and report in, right?
Yep.
That was the plan.
Yes.
Back
Yep.
to Jared's store. But the situation still needs, I mean, that's a good idea. But for the rest of the party on the ground, the situation still needs a fair amount of management. So what do you do first, Soinnarios?
And do you want me to help with this management before I leave, Soinnarios?
It's up to you, really.
I think I probably should.
That may not be a bad idea.
Yeah.
I think
I would provide first aid to anybody that's immediately around that I could, but you're gonna have to do any healing that we'd have to do, assuming you know any.
Yeah, I know a
I'm
decent
sadly
amount.
lacking. Yeah, one of us does. I'm more on the inflicting end, apparently.
It does seem
So-
that way. Okay, so what would our first priority be then?
Patch probably
Who's
got
hurt
more.
from our side? Who's hurt from our side?
Me, Soinnarios.
Yeah, that's pretty
Are
much
you
it.
it? Oh, do you need my help, or can you take care of yourself?
I can partially patch it up because I'm down to the fun way of describing 1 hit point left of my 6 in my leg, and so I was going to raise it up to at least 4 by dropping a heal 3.
Yeah, feel free to do that.
You know what? Do we have anybody else with our group that's got any healing? I can do first aid. That's about it.
Not really.
If there's somebody nearby, considering the fact that I was the one they may have the most angst towards, they may not realize it was me. Anyhow, after I say that, I'm the war party leader. I probably should stay out directing things and directing people and getting them organized and keeping an eye on things.
Okay.
And let free up the rest of our group to do healing. But we should provide first aid and healing to their people. We don't want them to bleed out.
Correct. Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay. Yeah, okay. Let's do that then. All right. So once you've healed yourself, Soinnarios, you have a captive who's wounded, but not badly. You got hit in the head with an axe, but he was wearing a helmet, so he's only kind of messed up. You do have 2 people on the ground like in the hall with you, who have both been chopped pretty good. Kaelor cut one guy across the arm and then down the leg on the same side of the body, the right side both times. And then there was the guy that Arcora just kind of like grabbed off the floor and like hacked up some. Neither of them are dead, but they're both very badly, like they have disabled limbs.
Okay.
So how do you want to approach that, I suppose?
So between the two, do we have like a total like 3 disabled limbs, or?
Yeah. They're not like cut off or anything. Like,
because I know back in the day, if you went to 0 MP, you basically passed out. Is that still true? Okay.
Yeah, it's not ideal.
Maybe just first aid them so that they stop bleeding.
I was thinking about doing maybe a smaller heal on each limb. Take me down to 1, but drop a heal 2 on each limb just to stabilize it or whatever.
Yeah, that's fine.
They're still part of our clan, tribe, whatever.
Tribe, yeah. Yes, and since this is a war between Orlanthi, like, yeah, considering things like Weregild, the ability to trade captives back and forth, they're all kind of important politically.
Yeah, let's don't kill anybody we don't have to.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not being hypocritical about that. I did not kill anybody I didn't have to.
So yeah, I'll drop 3 heal 2s that would get their limbs up. Plus, also that way we don't have to like put them on our horses and trust them on our horse or anything.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so they're stabilizing as you're casting magic. The rest of the hall, the few people who are in here and are not particularly hurt, are kind of just watching. No one's like trying to run or anything. Like they've surrendered, so now they're surrendered. No guarantees that your prisoners will stay put if you just leave them here. But as long as you're watching them, they're going to play by the rules.
Maybe we could gather up all the booty from them, and then get them, and maybe once they're mobile, we could start marching. So I think we talked before about the custom would be typically to take them back with us.
Yes, that would be kind of the general plan. You can't really hold them here very well, so you'd want to move them back to your main war party, your actual army, such as it is, so that you can hold your captives and keep them.
And did we have a name for Sword Dude?
Yeah, he's Thane Holmgren. He is an Orlanthi and a lay member of Humocht. He's the Thane of Three Holstead.
Maybe we can make a friends with him afterwards.
Well, about that. So, do either of you talk to him? Soinnarios, you would have the advantage here, or priority, because you would have been in the room with him while you were healing the other members of that hall. Do you? What do you try to engage him with? I guess.
I guess see how the rating and other stuff is going against the tribe, the other tribe,
the Ahmad, who have been raiding them.
Yes.
Yeah, and particularly the Badari, who are friends of yours.
Yeah, I'll ask about that first.
Their clan he's obviously not happy with you, but he sort of looks at you, and then when he sees you're healing, like his other people as well, he kind of nods shortly and says, "We've been hard pressed. They're a war clan, and they've brought their tribe with them." And he leaves unspoken. Us. There's a lot in how he phrases it that he leaves unspoken there. That they have the backing of their tribe, whereas here you are, tribe mates of his, and also attacking. He doesn't say any of that, but
I guess they don't create enemies within their own tribe.
He does just kind of snort and lets it lie for now. He's not going to argue politics in the moment. Once you eventually are going to move them outside. That was the plan. You're pulling captives out of the far stead, for like the far hall from you that is full of non-combatants. Durdast and Kathea have captured the people in the other hall. You guys have captured this hall.
Aren't we taking all these captives back with us?
That's kind of would be standard. You can't really hold them here very well.
Right.
Without risking a counterattack, and this way you'll have them as captives to trade back.
Right. So I think we take them back with us. Originally I was going to ride ahead, but I think actually given the numbers of captives we have, I should probably stay here.
That actually makes sense, yeah. Cool. So once you Scenarios, once you leave the hall, um, like it becomes a little more obvious what's going on in this Thane Holmgren. Like when he sees the body of one of the men who was shot like in the head with a fire arrow, like
Yeah.
he just like gives out a cry and runs over there. He doesn't look for permission or anything. He also doesn't pull like he doesn't have any weapons on him now. He just runs over to the body and like grabs it and starts like collaring.
Gotta kill his kid.
I mean, an adult son, but yes, his son.
Yeah.
That's how these extended families live. So
Yeah.
you would
Oh, I know,
expect
it's
most of the people in a settlement to be related to each other.
So the fact that I've killed 2 of them might set them up to not like me.
That is a risk in wartime, yes, that your enemies may not like you after you kill a few of them. Like,
I really wasn't trying to undersell it that much, but I was just thinking it's just kind of professional, being very professional about the whole thing.
yeah, you are. You're all being very professional. But that's how it is. So he run. I mean, he does. It's probably not like. So the two of you have seen cattle raiding, and you have fought like tusk riders. This is really the first time you fought like other Orlanthi, in
Right.
earnest. And so, like, it is hard to watch. I mean, these people look like you. They're wearing the same tribal tattoos. He's obviously distraught, and Orlanthi men are given to shows of emotion, so it's not like stoic in that sense. So it would be hard to watch. And there are others, when you're gathering the crowds together, like the other captives. Like there was another man who fell, and he has family here as well. So it's how it goes. So obviously, once Holmgren masters himself, he asks to take the bodies with them.
I don't have any problem with that.
That's fine.
I would also think we probably would have them take, if they've got them, animals to haul the bodies on, and haul some of their people.
Yeah, they have some of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason for the old people to
Carts,
walk or
horses,
whatever.
yeah.
We're not being intentionally cruel or anything.
Right, yeah. It's just war by its nature is awful. So
They started it.
Not with you.
Well, they took our land, generations ago.
Right. Cool.
They slipped
cool.
and fell on my fire arrow.
Sounds good. All right. So, anyways, we'll sort through that. So you have a ride. It's going to be slower getting back to your camp than it was leaving. Obviously, since you're guiding wounded and elderly, and you're dealing with that sort of stuff. Do you loot the place on your way out? Do you take stuff or do you leave it?
What would be standard here?
That's a good question.
Kind
So,
of trying to follow cultural norms.
right, you're at war. If your goal is to capture this territory, so your goal is to drive all the people who live in this area out of it, either by taking them captive and then trading them back in return for that, or just by like ruining what they have. So obviously it's better to leave things intact because you also want it to live there.
I would think we'd take a second to loot if they have valuables there with us. We can always choose to let them return with them.
Right, and it's also, I was going to say, one of your clan values, I guess, is like not really
Welfare.
greed but shrewdness, right? So like you kind of have that quality. And shrewdness and ambition are both sort of clan virtues for you, or values. So
Okay.
like taking these things in order to use them as leverage later or to improve your position is probably something that would at least cross your mind.
We'll check.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, I mean, if you want to, I mean, they have some animals surplus even to what you need. You could easily take those. You already have their weapons and armor and shields. Beyond that, you're probably not looking at a lot of like material wealth. Maybe some nice, some like silver torques or rings, things like that are not being worn. Those would be the sorts of things that you find. They're obvious, like their wealth is in their animals, and their herds are not all here. But you can certainly take some animals and things.
Can we take some cattle?
Yeah. Yep.
I think we would take cattle because
Makes
that's our
sense,
most valuable one.
Yep, they would have some cattle here. Though, like I said, most of the herds are out and about, like grazing. But they would have some animals present that you could run off with. Let's find out how many. Outside of the oxen that you've taken to pull the cart, there would be 2 cows here.
Yeah, it's more than nothing.
So
So we'll
a
take
couple of cows, yes. Like,
I mean, smaller livestock is probably not practical for us really to herd back. No more.
yeah, you're not really going to be able to herd sheep or pigs away very, very effectively. But they have a couple of cattle here, as well as, I mean, you're taking them on with several horses and a pair of oxen. Oxen are just cattle. So, and it's not like you're going to let them keep the horses once they're back at your camp.
Yep.
So there is value here beyond just those 2 cows. Those are just surplus to what you needed to transport them. All right. How many people?
Yeah.
All right. So you captured, there were 7 fighters, 2 of whom are dead now. So you've captured 5 fighters. No, that's not correct. There are 7 fighters that you captured, and then an additional 2 who are dead. I apologize. I misread my note.
Okay.
You would have captured 3 what you would call elders, so people who are too old to really be contributing a lot to the work. You would have captured 2 women, like wives, basically women who are in working age or have kids, and then there would have been 5 children there as well. Some of the women that you captured, some of the fighters that you captured were women, so some of the women did fight, but others did not.
Did you say something about children numbers?
5. So, and these would range from like babies to like a year or 2 younger than you.
So altogether we have 17.
Yeah.
There were 19 there when we showed up.
Which the 6 of you are managing. So, all right. So then you start heading back with your little convoy here. Just make some perception checks for me as you go.
85, which I suspect does not.
It sounds like a failure.
Scan. Yes, I have a 46 scan.
Okay. All right.
How many of these am I doing? You said make some.
Well, just each of you make one. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'll have some of your followers make them as well.
85?
That's what I rolled. Quit copying me.
I didn't mean to.
Oh, you're all terrible at this.
Yeah, I rolled really well in combat. What do you want?
Yep, fair enough. Okay, so y'all, nobody really sees anything, so you seem fine. Everything seems fine. A couple of your Dirtast and Tarkora are more alert than the others, and they also don't see anything. So you feel good about things. Yeah, everything's fine. So that's all good. Like I said, it takes you a while to get moving back, so it's probably because you left in the morning, or nearly everything is in shadow. There would be strips of light where the peaks aren't quite catching everything. Again, it's really easy to navigate. You can see the Smoky Mountains. I think they're called. They may have a different name. Indigo Mountains.
Those are the ones to the east?
Yep, you can see those kind of because they're smoke covered. You can see Skyfall Lake and the storm above it all the time, and you can see Kirofan pretty much all the time, almost wherever you are, unless you're very close to like a hillside or a cliff or a bunch of trees or something. Those 3 are pretty easy to see, and so it's really pretty easy to keep more or less aligned navigationally. It's hard to get lost, and especially hard to get lost so near to your clan lands. So you don't have too much trouble getting back to your camp. It just takes some time. So in the evening you approach, and they have moved forward some. They're setting up their lines. And there have been other parties sent out, other bands, to do other raids and tasks with other missions while you've been gone. But for the most part, you're settling into camp for the evening. Okay, so you 2 roll up with your band and all of your captives, and Thane Jaristor, who is your guys' war leader, your Orlanth representative on the council, the head of the Thanes, etc., rides up to meet you. He's flanked by a pair of followers. And he, gives you holds up his hand with the axe in it and hollers at you to get your attention and asks you what has happened.
So we We arrived at, was it 3 Hall Stead?
Yep.
We arrived at 3 Hall Stead and exchanged a little bit of pleasantries with people there and brought captives back after securing it. This is not really secured because we're here, but
Right. He, yeah, that part's true. You were really only sent to scout it. Actually taking it was like if it was lightly
scouted
enough
it.
held. Right.
We scouted it, but we ended up taking it.
Right.
It is a reconnoiter in force.
Right. Yeah. It was a meeting engagement and things escalated.
Yes.
Yeah. So no, he's fine with that. He sent you to scout it and to raid or seize it if you could, but he told you to come back if it looked, well defended. That you didn't need to like risk yourselves hard to try and take it.
We only took one minor injury.
True. It's already mostly fixed.
Feel better.
I know that's easy for me to say.
He's happy with that. He kind of rides around, like he wheels his horse around the captive party that you're bringing with you, and sort of head counts it and takes a look at it, and then he assigns his riders that are with him, the two of them, to handle the captives. They've had some other raiding successes, so they have like a little camp set up to put the captives in. So they at that point they take most of them from you. But while they're pulling them, Jarostar does reach out and he holds Holmgren back for a minute to talk to him.
Okay.
So that happens. You're not
captured thing.
That's our captured thing. Yeah. So he talks to him for a minute to get kind of a sense of what's going on from his perspective, and to you're not really sure what their conversation is about it. You're not privy to it. But he releases Holmgren back to the camp, and he'll be separated. He'll be in a different tent basically from the other ones, and there are a couple of other war leaders that have been like thanes or things that have been captured that are kept separate from the rest of the captives. Hooey. All right, so you're back at camp. You've seen some other, like I said, raiders come in. There's obviously other captives here now. You've moved forward the better part of a mile, maybe 2. It's kind of hard, you have to guesstimate distances. Those are mile markers, but
but not much.
Yeah. I mean, the sliver of land you're trying to capture is not that big. So I keep referring to the map. I know that the viewers don't have access to it, but it's in the guide to Glorantha, or in the starter book. But every hex is 5 miles, and we're talking about a space that's like maybe half a hex wide. Yeah, so you've covered most of that ground. Well, you are not going to be sent out again. Night fighting is risky and difficult.
Yep.
It's not something that you do very often if you can avoid it. It can be good for cattle raiding. That's not what you're here for. So what do you do this evening? There are quite a few people around. And obviously work to be done as well. So how do you spend your time?
Well, I'd want to find out first the situation. Like, how did the rest of them go? Have we been successful overall?
Okay, so Jarostar responds to you and just says, "Yeah, we've sent out raids. They've all come back intact. We haven't sustained any losses. And there have not been many losses on the Mandarin side either. Like, this just isn't that sort of fight. His big concern, he'll tell you, is that the Mandarin haven't formed up a battle line. Like, they're not offering us a fight in the field, and that may just be because the Ahmad are raiding them so hard that they can't. Like, they're unable to. Everyone's trying to protect their holding, so they're not able to answer us, which from his perspective is a best case scenario, because it means you can just grab this land. Well, so things are going well.
What's our plan for tomorrow?
In the morning, we'll push forward, secure these lines, capture everything we can, and then we'll send riders to sue for peace.
Okay.
To try and force terms with them.
I think we take our group and we, of course, we'll set up tents and stuff and assign watch orders and stuff, and also get some supper going since we had a hard day.
Right. Okay. All
I
right.
might try to see if I can find somebody to help patch up my leg a little bit more.
Okay. How much are you still missing on that?
Just two.
Just two? Okay. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So you'll look for helpers. Basically, there are people who travel along an army or on raids who are not combatants but are willing to like do work or heal wounds. I mean, you play King of Dragon Pass. You know this is the helper category of people when you build a war party. So not hard to find. I'm trying to think about who would be most likely to be picked up. So the easiest person to find would just be Orstar, who has come along. He's a younger guy. He's in your cohorts, your age group. He is an Asaris, like Mason and Carpenter. He's a builder. He's not much of a fighter. You guys have thus far kind of left him out of all your little raids and adventures. But he's here and he'll help.
He's a really good guy.
He's just a really good guy. Like that's his thing. So he sees that you're back. He's happy to see you, Soinnarios. He's like, all right, cool. So you're made it back alive. That's good. I assume the rest of your party is okay.
Yep, I'm the only one that got nicked up.
Ah, yeah, those are the dangers of being in the front line. So he takes a look at your wound. So you got cut in the leg, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So and he pokes some prods for a while and tries to figure out if you need stitches or not. You've already healed it, so you probably don't. And he eventually just kind of like puts a band-aid on it, like not a band-aid, but like a bandage. Like he wraps it in some cloth, like and like ties it off. So you can have one of those HP back.
He has a nice personality.
He's a nice guy. I mean, he did some. It wasn't a complete failure. You got some of it back.
Well, I thank him.
Yeah, no problem. That's why I'm here. So he doubts he's going to be building anything of use, but he can at least patch people up.
Just curious if he's seen anything different. We've heard everybody came back successful or intact, but wondering if that's what he's actually seen.
Yeah. Says everybody's done a good job. They've all gone out raiding and no one's been killed or even really seriously injured. Like no one's lost a limb or an eye or anything like that. Like there've been some wounds, but nothing that can't be patched up or fixed, which is good. And he's seen them bringing in captives. He's sure you've seen them too since you brought in some. And it seems like things are going to him. He's like things are going about as smoothly as you could expect for an actual battle. And he asks you, why does it seem different to you?
No, that was our experience when we hit the 3 hall status. Is you never know if what people are saying is happening is what's actually happening. So, and then I might see if he'd be one to, I don't know, if build beds or get something for those elderly people in our little group. So they're not too
He'll
put out.
look after them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know hospitality is one of our things.
Yes, it is. So he's sure they'll be looked after, but he will make sure they're looked after as much as he can.
Then I'll
cool.
head back.
All right. After that, it's really just it's a war camp. There's food. There are people pretty excited. You're getting some music or partying, like not partying, but just people being rowdy because it's been pretty successful and not very dangerous so far for most people. And it's worked well. You've taken a fair number of captives. You've subdued several Thanes. There aren't, Thanes are professional warriors with assigned responsibilities, and there aren't that many of them in a clan. So having captured 3 of them is a meaningful portion of the core of the Mandarin's military force. And so far, it does just seem like everything in the camp that you're hearing, you're talking to relatives and people it's just that nothing. There really hasn't been that much resistance. It seems like the Badari and the other Ahmad who came with them have been raiding them like through sea season, like just poaching, stealing sheep and pigs, and harassing them basically. And it's making it really hard for them to form up. They've all kind of hunkered down, in their each little town or stead, and kind of just tried to protect their stuff, and it's really hard for them to pull together to face you like on the field without ceding all of that, and they really can't afford to.
Not bad.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's a big part of why you're you know this. It's a big part of why your clan leadership is gung ho for this, is because it's a really good opportunity to just be like, our army marched up, took everything, and you can't answer us. So just call it quits. Like just let us have this. So that's the thing. But anyways, as you get fed and get packed away, like you've seen a lot, you've been through some stuff, obviously, and you are tired. So you'll just hit the hay, and we'll just roll into the next day. Okay, so next morning, everybody wakes up. Nothing crazy has happened overnight, which is good. It's a good deal. And you're going to be on the march with the rest of the army. Your party will be assigned to anchor, like go out to one of the wings, basically, right out about a mile, and then turn, and then just move forward until you've grabbed the territory you want. You've been given a couple of marker stones to set up once you get there.
Okay.
That will just delineate the territory that you're trying to seize.
Yeah.
Good. We'll move out. I will have filled up my magic crystal I used yesterday,
Nice.
so I'll be fully ready to go.
Ha.
My massive 17 magic points.
Hey, that's not a small amount.
Nope, I'm not bothered by it.
If I was down to 1 out of 12, how full am I now, I guess?
Yeah, that's a good question. All right. You would regain half of your total.
Okay.
You regain
Basically.
1/24th of your adventurer's power per hour. So you get them back once a day, and if you have to, so you would, since it's been approximately 12 hours since the fighting stopped, and since you cast the healing spell, you would get about half of that back. Cool. So 6 of it back. So you'd have 7 now. All right. Sounds good. Yeah, it's a weird little rule. But I guess it keeps things organic. Like it makes it
Basically, you regain everything in 24 hours, and you can just kind of split it up by half days or quarter days or whatever.
Yep, but you can get things back incrementally over that time, which is kind of nice, I suppose. All right, so your party will ride out and then execute your little wheel and then ride forward a bit and then stop kind of where you think you're supposed to be. This isn't that hard to do because your army is spread out in a line now to kind of cover most of this territory. You're not marching abreast, but there are bands every 50 or 60 yards roughly, so you can see each other and kind of form a rough arc of where you're supposed to be.
The question is, does anybody come out to meet us?
Yeah, this is a good question. Go ahead and roll perception. Roll scan is probably most appropriate.
I rolled a 96.
Whew.
I need to go get my black and white dice.
61.
That's better than my roll.
Okay, yeah. So
It's less than twice my skill.
all right, so again, we're pretty reliant on Durdas and Artcora and also Elendor to handle this for us. The three of them do notice some people, and they alert you to it as well. You aren't stealthy right now. You're mounted and carrying stones, so this isn't like a secret. So you both groups spot each other. The group you spot is being a little sneakier. They're a group of people on foot, and they're carrying like javelins. A couple of them have bows. They're wearing leather, like leather armor, and axes. Not all of them have shields. Most of them don't. Like 6.
So we're about the same numbers as ours.
Yes, but luckily for you, you realize before you can attack them that these are Badari. These are friends of your clan.
Okay, good. I was going to call out to him, actually. I just want to point that out. I was not going to
That's fine. That's fine. You just start blasting.
Kill them all and let the gods sort it out.
Yeah. All right. So you call out to them.
Yes. Is this the clan inside the Ahmad that we're
you're friends with? Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. They're not marked on little maps. I just want to make sure. I'm not complaining. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, I only mapped your tribe, but yeah, the Badari are an Ahmad clan.
Do they border us too?
No, they don't border you. They would border the Mandarin.
Yeah. Well, there's got to be a tribe that borders us, or a clan that borders us.
Yes, there are, but not
Okay.
They're not them.
So we will hail them.
Okay.
Or I will hail them.
Yeah, for sure.
And
They kind of they saw you. They see you seeing them, and then they return your greeting. They like again sort of they raise weapons overhead and start moving towards you. Like
I'll move. I think we'll move up towards them. Most of us are mounted, but weapons lowered or up, raised or whatever.
Right.
I always have an arrow kind of knocked, kind of not, but off of my left hand.
Right. I got you. Okay. So yeah, they move to greet you, and then they ask you once you're close enough if you've seen any targets. Is how they actually say it, like flat out.
That's the Mandarin.
Yeah, the Mandarin would be the ones you're looking for, like you're fighting. But
Yep.
the Badari want to know if you've seen any targets about.
Oh, targets. I'm sorry.
Yeah, targets.
Well, not today, because yesterday we moved in to this area, and we traveled to a local stead, which we removed everybody from to get them out of the so they wouldn't get hurt.
Right. The Badari war leader, kind of the leader of this band, like nods enthusiastically. Says good.
So no targets today. We're just moving stones forward.
Okay. Well, if we've met you, then there's nothing in between us.
Wow.
Like on our paths. There may be like there's other fighting going on. He just means like there's no you could move forward as far as they've gone the last day and not encounter anyone to fight.
Okay. We'll exchange names and stuff. Though if you don't have it, we don't have to get into detail. But
right.
So
no, you're fine. His name would be Hillmill.
Hillmill.
Yeah, like Hilmil.
And what is their clan? How do you spell their clan again?
Badari.
Okay. Is it a war leader or a thane?
Yeah, he'd be like you essentially. Like he's leading this band. So he'd be a trusted, maybe if he's not an actual Thane, he'd be like a Huskarl or something like that.
Okay.
Which the Badari are a war clan, so they live by raiding and hunting primarily. So there's a lot of people like him in this clan.
I'll introduce myself. Kathea.
Yeah, he says I'm Hillmill. It's good to meet you. Says, well, if there's no one here, says we've done about what we can. If you're riding forward, we'll just turn around and go with you for a ways.
Okay, that's fine. I was afraid we might end up disputing who was going to be taking over what, so I'm glad that they're just cool with it.
No, he kind of says, he shrugs that off, and then his expression darkens and he spits and he says, "This is about honor." He's like, as you know, like you're good friends, you came to support us, but they beat up some of our clansmen when we went to their town to trade. And this is all you've heard all this before, but it's kind of like you've heard the brief, but actually getting the story. Like the Mandarin have been mad for quite a while, like since the end of the lunar invasion. They're mad that no one marched. They're mad that we didn't send armies to die. They're mad that we didn't rise up again to support Sartor. And they've been running at the mouth for like the last year, and it's escalated too far. Like, and we don't let anyone just beat up our clan members. So they're being reminded now that we're a war clan. And unlike them, we haven't made everyone mad, so our friends come to the fight. So as we've spent the last season seizing livestock, taking a few captives that we've traded back, we're not. No one's going to slave wall or anything, but it's been pretty profitable for us.
Yeah, the irony of all this is the Mandarin would be the traditional player character clan to keep fighting the looters, and we're beating them up for it.
And they have their points. They're not entirely wrong, but they're not all right either. So it's all good. But yeah, so he's been fairly pleased with the war. He'd prefer if it didn't have to be fought. He'd rather raid Praxians or trolls or other targets than fellow Aldacheri. But if that's what they want, that's what they'll get.
I'd agree with that. I don't think I've ever fought trolls, but I think I dislike them. I don't say it that way, but
like we're not big fans of them. Those darkness.
I wouldn't mind going troll raiding. Or we can go and visiting Crabtown or something too.
Yeah, that's an option. We've got a lot to do. So they'll trot along with you. They're infantry, but it's not like you're moving fast either. So they'll be
I think
able
that
to keep pace with you.
we have a person or two on foot anyway.
Yes,
if
you
I
do.
remember right.
And even then, like I said, you're lugging a couple of these border stones with you. Those are fairly heavy, so you're not really moving quick. You're also not needing to move fast. So like the army's not at double time or anything. Like you're just moving forward.
It's a casual stroll.
Yeah, you're moving to where you think the border should be and then setting it up is really what's going on. And this is like I've said before, I know, but this is an area that's been in dispute. It was supposed to be settled during the tribe making, but with the way things have been going, obviously it's a good time to revisit that topic.
Yep, works for me.
All right, cool. So that's they exchange gossip with you, and chat. Like they're not trying to sneak now that they know that there's nothing around to worry about, at least for a while. So they're pretty confident in just moving with you openly. Otherwise, it's not been terribly active. You haven't had to do too much around a couple hours, because you had to ride out a ways and then wheel. So like after it's late morning and you're able to like set these marker stones up and you can see other parties kind of doing the same. So they're paired stones. One will face you and one will face the Mandarin, and they draw border limits.
Excellent.
And you'll just set them up like offset from one another, so that like if there was a 4 square, you would put them in like 1 and 4, basically. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So that's kind of what you do. So you have to do some digging and some driving to get these stones in the ground. But once they're set, they're set. I mean, they're not going to move unless someone comes and moves them, which is something that your army would have done earlier, was pull up the old ones on the way in.
They are the same stones, basically. We just moved.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So, excellent.
Yeah, it's a pretty firm declaration. At this point, you'll kind of, once the border is set up, your forces will start to compact again, like a bit. So you'll start pulling in some of your parties that are further out and kind of roll them back in so that your army is more compact to march. Still kind of spread out. This isn't a big army we're talking about,
right?
Less, like no more than 200 people.
Makes sense.
So it's not like you need to be like marching super dispersed because you're eating everything in front of you. It's not that sort of fight. So
right.
But you start to pull back together into a more compact force so that you can kind of move down the trail that you're on, or the path that you're on, a dirt road basically, towards the Mandarin's central town, which is also just Mandarin. It's not named differently.
So they have still haven't sent anybody out?
No, you really haven't.
Are we gonna send?
Say what?
Are we gonna send somebody to them then?
You're gonna move. The plan is that you'll move inside of their walls and then send forward a party to talk to them and see if you can't get them to negotiate a peace. And hopefully there will be a Badari group there as well, like with the authority to negotiate to try and close this war out.
Right.
Because you don't really want it to be long-standing. It's not good for anybody, really. Like, it's just, that's where we're at. So you're kind of just marching forward. If you're encountering anybody, like a stead or something, you're just capturing it. It's not hard to do when you can throw 3 or 4 or 5 warbands at a time at it. Like, so most people are not fighting back at this point.
These will be our steadies.
That's the plan. That's the hope, for sure. So, as this rolls into early afternoon, so you'll be able to sort of do that. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there momentarily.
Moving our warbands and
Yep. You're moving forward, and you'll be able to sort of get inside of their walls. So this is another little town, sort of like yours, where it's a small Orlanthe township or large village. It has common structures for the clan, a market, a wall, like a little stone wall, probably wood, probably a palisade, a couple of small temples, those sorts of things. It's the standard pattern, basically. Once you're within sight of it, there are some people here. There are, like, the people who live here have their militia raised. So there is a smaller army here. It has it's relatively heavy on the Thane and Huskarl side, but there's not very many of them. So it's maybe a third your size, and they're just like in or near the town. Once they see you, they send a little. There's like some commotion, and they send a little party forward a ways that waits. So at this point, you would send a little party forward a ways as well. So, Jarastor is riding forwards because he's your guys' actual like war leader. The two of you could go if you wanted. Like,
Sure.
you would have just like an official presence, Soinnarios, both because of your temple and because of your role leading a warband. Or sorry, Kathea. And then Soinnarios, you would have standing because you're also fighting, and you have like the connections basically, like more
You're
political,
important.
but you would not be turned away if you went
As
with
well.
Kathea. Yeah, might as well. Otherwise, you're just chilling out in the back.
I'll be a wallflower.
All right, so with this party is like your party is the two of you, Jarastor, his attendants, and then some other Thanes that you would know. Just a handful of Thanes from your clan. Your Hilmil, your little Badari friend, is going to go with as well. He doesn't actually have the power to negotiate on behalf of his clan, but he'll attend. All right. So in the opposing party, the party that's approaching you, is Chieftain Orlbrast. So Orlbrast. He's the chieftain of the Mandarin. He's their leader. He is attended by several members of his clan ring, as well as several like parathanes. So the party is roughly the same size as yours, roughly as good at fighting, fairly equivalent. And he's Orbrast is armed and armored, but he's not like weapons drawn, and this is unusual. So he's a Orlanthi chieftain in the Tarshite mode. So he's wearing, like a nice helm with feathers on it. He's carrying a nice axe. He's got a shield slung over his back. He's wearing metal armor. Everything bronze, of course.
No iron.
He's not carrying any iron, no. Not saying he doesn't have it. He's just not carrying it. Though one of his Thanes does have an iron sword. So once you get close enough to speak, there's still a gap between your lines, but it's not far. A few yards. Orlbrast kind of comes to the head of his group, then he dismounts, then he just stands there with his arms crossed and looks out at your party. At which point, Jarastor will also dismount and then call out to him and say, like, "Hell, chieftain of the Mandarings, like, we've come to negotiate."
Do the Badari have somebody here official too?
No, they
Okay.
don't, and that's okay. Like, you joined the war alongside them, and you can negotiate your own exit
Right.
as well. Like, you don't need to, but
That's fine. I was just asking curiosity.
yeah, like Hilmel's here, so he can at least report what's happening back.
Yeah.
And kind of figure that out. So they might be able to coordinate some there with you, but there's no one here to carry out their end of it. All right, so these two, there's some chatter. This is one of those like two NPCs talking to each other, so we're gonna gloss it a little bit.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. I'm not gonna play out both. I'm not playing out both sides of this conversation. What essentially happens here is that Orlbrast is mad, obviously, like angry about how. You're good. All right. So he's obviously not happy with how things are going. He understands the position that he's in, that he really can't fend off an entire tribe of raiders, let alone another clan as well. He is still pretty unhappy with the whole situation. I mean, in his core of it is that he thinks his fellow tribe mates have been faithless, which is a heavy accusation. That the Sartorites sent soldiers over and over again to fight the Lunars in Tarsh. That once Tarsh fell, they took you in, like all of the far place, like all of Aldature, like, and to continue to fight, even at Grizzly Peaks. but they lost again. And then when they called one last time, no one came. Like, the Mandarin sent soldiers and warriors, which is part of why the Mandarin can't protect themselves now. And they're not happy with it, but they also recognize that they can't keep fighting. So they're willing to start burying hatchets, essentially. Which is when Jairus will press his claims that you have quite a few hostages, like a few dozen, like almost 30. Some of them are Thanes, some of them are Carl level, so they're free men and women. You have taken like valuables and things, and you're willing to release all of that and pay Wergild on the people that you've killed, which only 3 people have died that you've killed. 2 of them were your party. Good job. And in return, you're keeping those lands, and you'll consider the matter settled. You'll let the insults drop. You'll let everything go without ransom, as long as you get to keep the land. And to sweeten the deal further, Jarister mentions that your chieftain, Ara Sable for is willing to talk to the Ahmad and the Badari and try to get them to back off and settle more favorably with the Mandarin. And that also, you're very well aware that they have had a hard time sowing, and they've lost a lot of cattle and sheep and pigs, and you're willing to help them get through this year because their harvest is probably not going to be great.
We're pretty generous.
Land is worth a lot. It's literally the primary wealth generator of anyone, like in this era and setting. So it's worth a lot. So you're offering a lot, and you don't want an endless border feud either. So it's worth it to try and settle it pretty favorably. Orbras doesn't like it, but again, he knows that he can't win, so he'll take these terms. After some sharp words, he's willing to settle with that. So at that point, you can start kind of organizing prisoner exchanges and things like this. Anybody who you didn't capture will be moved out, and then you can start sort of handing people over and getting things secured. So that's the big battle. Like, it's, I know, a little anticlimactic, but the Mandarin were not in a good position. Pretty much from the start. So let's make some, for you guys, make some insight rolls. Like human insight, not elf insight, human.
19.
Oh, that's pretty good.
A lot better than mine. We rolled double odd.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no. Okay, cool.
Can I spend a hero point?
That's not a thing. Right?
You can spend all the hero points you want.
Okay, cool. I spent all my hero points.
Good job. Just, yeah. All right, so that's bad, and I'm gonna take a second here to hand out a successful result, and then I'll circle back to you. While I cook something good up. I would assume a 19 was successful. Yes. Soinnarios. Yeah. Okay, cool. So
37 plus.
Absolutely, I figured you get it. Anything sub 20 is usually going to be successful. Just from
good job.
Way defaults work. All right, so you're able here to glean out that, yeah, Orbras is going to take these terms, and yes, you were generous, but yes, he's still angry. So things are probably not over the way you might want them to be. There's also not a lot you can do about that right now, but it's worth remembering.
I was kind of getting that feeling anyway.
Yeah, but now you know, officially and mechanically, that is so. So
yes,
perhaps make a note of this. Yeah.
I wrote that down.
Good job. Cool. So that's what you get, Kathea.
Oh.
So I want you to write on your sheet. I want you to write hate Chieftain Orbrast and go ahead and give that like a 50%. Like, you've misread him, or really you've read him. He seems to you, yes, to be insane. Like, he is not.
Is this under passions?
This would be a passion, yes. So he seems to you to be crazy. Yeah.
So this is under hate?
Yes.
Hate.
Like
Where you spell his name? Or
Orlbrast. Like your read on him is that he seems legitimately unhinged. He seems like a bad king type guy. Like he's not really a king, but a chieftain. He embodies what you would typically think of as all the bad storm traits. Like, and you've just in this moment of seeing him in this situation, you've just developed like a deep dislike for the man. How you approach that or how you tinge that is up to you, but it is there. It's going to make it hard for you to interact with him or with his followers in the future. Like if you're interacting with someone who's doing official business on his behalf, or with him himself, like you're gonna have troubles with it. But yeah, he does not seem to you to be a person that you should ever need to interact with, and you dislike him. Like he seems like a bad guy, like very strongly, like very strongly.
Oh my!
What's up?
Well, this
Like
is really fun.
I only have a 50% on it. You never know.
Yeah, it's a coin flip. You may or may not be able to handle how you feel about him at any given moment. So that's cool. But yeah, you definitely you feel like you've gotten a good look at him and gotten the measure of him, and you really dislike what you've seen. So it's going to be imprinted.
I trust my instincts.
Yeah, there's no reason not to. Cool. So those are the big fallouts from this. Otherwise, roll. I want you to roll. You have. I apologize. I've played so many systems and RuneQuest systems. Sometimes I forget what a thing is specifically, but you should have some sort of like local lore or local culture skill.
Homeland lore.
Homeland lore. Yeah. So I want you guys to roll that as well. As you're seeing things happen.
78.
Okay.
Me at 35.
Okay.
I got 63. I needed a 35.
Okay. Unfortunately, you're not able to take away any larger implications outside of the extremely like right in front of you ones from this. So that's neat. All right, not bad. Okay. So you're not really gonna get any loot out of this adventure. Per se. You're not obviously walking away with like a bunch of money or a bunch of cattle or a nice new sword or something like that. But in the aftermath of this, as your army kind of retreats back to your new borders and you start figuring out what to do with the land that you have, which the land you seized is mostly flat land that's slightly up hill of you. It's grazing land. It's land for cattle and horses. So I think, is there anything in the aftermath of this, like, because we're kind of going to close out this adventure and kind of move towards doing some fire season stuff, so less adventure-y and more planning out some downtime and things. And there will be other stuff that we do. This didn't take quite as long as I thought it would, but we could kind of move into that, and then next session we can start up with some. Hopefully, we'll focus on some religious stuff for you guys, like running you through a seasonal holy day, and I think a high holy day is. And I'll have to double check, but and Kathea, you might know offhand, but your high holy day, is it in fire season or darkness season?
Yeah, what?
Solar cults are usually one or the other, and I can't remember which one it is for you offhand.
I have the RuneQuest 2 call right up here, so I'm sure that hasn't changed. It's organization though. It takes me a little bit of time.
Okay, thanks, Glorantha Wiki. Day 187. Super. Oh, it is in dark season. Okay.
Oh, you found it already?
Sorry. So, yep. So you will both go through seasonal holy days. Yeah, it's usually for fire cults. Usually either have them in fire season or darkness season. Yolorna is a dark season one.
Okay.
So yeah. So we'll both go through seasonal holy days, which are important. They're an important time to work on magical skills or getting spells back and things. But that's kind of what I'm hoping to do next session, and that should be most of our session. So for this session, we kind of need to talk about what the rest of fire season looks like for your characters and what the fallout of all this is. So immediately, you guys are going to get some reputation from this. You're each going to get 3 points of reputation. So 3 percentage points. Basically, over the next few weeks, you executed a fairly impressive capture of a well-populated steed or stead, and obviously are pretty good at fighting. You captured Thane, you captured a bunch of captives, you marched in good order, you were entrusted with marker stones. You were both present at the surrender of the Mandarin. Like those are all like kind of high points to add to your story as people. And you're both very young, so these things kind of weigh heavier than if you were like 40 or something. Like not as impressive, but this is like your first year of adulthood and you've been involved in stuff.
Let's say we got quite a bit to talk about going and doing stuff with elves and doing the cattle raid here, and now actually seizing the stead. I don't know how much to talk. I probably should be low key about the fact that I am responsible for 2 of the 3 deaths in this whole thing.
That's up to you how you want to play that. You can lean into it and be like, yes, I am a deadly warrior. Or you can be like, well, it's all good. We did a good job as a team. We're cool. Sort of up to you how you want to handle that. But yeah,
I don't think I'm a squad. I don't mind it getting out that I'm deadly and dangerous when I'm going for it. But if it comes up, I will just note that I did what I did because where they're hiding and wasn't really trying to kill them. It was just that was the only thing open.
Right, that's how it goes sometimes. Yeah. People die in war.
I wouldn't have shot him in the head, but that's all I had to aim at, so that's why I shot him in the head.
Right. It was the only exposed bit. What was I supposed to do? So, that's a detail too. You would have returned the bodies as well, so they're buried on Mandarin land.
Yeah.
That's fine. Okay. Otherwise, so you have that going for you. You both gained some reputation. You're not really going to be given anything, materially, but as things are kind of shaking out, you have all this land. People need to be assigned to it. Do you make any plays there? Do either of you want land? Do you
I do
want
not
to manage
want land.
something?
I would love to advocate if I could for my brother if it would be better than where he's at now, but I'm not sure it is.
It might be. He is not bad at handling animals at all. In fact, you've seen that during the cattle raid.
I'll talk to him first, but if he is, I would point it out that he's good at handling animals, and I'll bring it up to my family first, and not the bigger family.
Right. Like marshal your forces.
Well, yeah, because I don't have mom support, then it's kind of pointless.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, for sure. You can talk to your parents about that.
Note that he's done well and that he's a good handler, and that maybe we can work his way back into good grace of the family.
Right. So you're talking to
Callista.
Yeah. So that's your mother. She's not as what would be a good word? She's not Soinnarios' mom. So she's less
Is my aunt a pain?
I don't know. She can be difficult, let's say. Some of that is just her and Soinnarios' relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, in fact she is. So she is the youngest daughter. She is a rising power both inside the clan and inside the Earth Temple, and inside the Earth Temples. She's fairly used to being in charge, and she's fairly she can be kind of aloof. Like she definitely leans into some of those Earth. The Earth is very rational, pragmatic, calculating, as well as being very earthy, and she kind of leans into those things. Like she's always weighing things for their advantage and their use against each other, and then taking actions based on establishing power and influence. And those are good things if you want to be a powerful, wealthy family, but they do make her kind of personally difficult to deal with.
Yep.
She has high standards for people, and she gives people what they earn sometimes, or what she thinks they are worth to her, and that can be kind of hard to deal with when you're talking about a close relative. Whereas your mother, Kathea, she is more of a manager. She is relatively she's literate, she's numerate, and she kind of looks after the money and stuff. She pays more attention to who you're trading with and how much is coming in and out. And
so we're the accountant family.
Your mother is the accountant person in the family. I don't know if that's inheritable per se, but it's what she's good at and what she drifted towards. So she keeps track of the money. She has, she pays more attention to like, hey, what are we doing with this particular patch of land? Has anybody cultivated it? Or do we need to build a wall there? Do we need to work on its irrigation? Like she pays attention to those things more. She's more of manager.
I just realized we have an uncle who's married into the. I'm sorry,
Yes.
I was looking at the love list.
No, you're good. Like that's true. Like,
I'm making connections now. Give me a break.
Good.
It makes more
that's
sense
fine.
once we've encountered them.
Right. Okay. Excellent. Yeah. So yeah, you do have an uncle who married into the Badari. That's Enmerev there. And so that's kind of what's going on. So your mother isn't against it. In fact, it would make a lot of sense to her to be like, yes, right now, like Kaelor is tending Learnt's land, and the truth is that Learnt just isn't doing her job very well. Like, and we can't keep hiding that forever. That's just not how it works. Like, and I know that we've talked about this before, but like none of you own any land. Like your clan owns land. It hands it out to clan members based on how responsible and capable they seem. And if you're like, you guys are an established bloodline, so you have noble status, which means that you're in charge of more land than you can personally farm yourself. And so you look after Carls and half Carls and Cotters who are also working the land, but you're given like permission basically to give them guidance and make sure that things are being handled well. So some of that's being like let out to you basically by the clan to manage, because the clan's ring can't manage all of the land by itself. So that's how you get to be noble, right? But if you're bad at it or you make mistakes, they'll take it away from you and they'll let somebody else do it. And the problem with Learnt, one of your aunts, your oldest aunt, is that she like most of her family died during the Lunar invasion of illness, not in the war, but they died in that time period. It's considered a bad omen. Like her whole family dropped off basically,
That's bad.
except for like she has a grandchild, one who's still alive, and that's it. So like she's been not functional for about a year or so. Like she's been in grief. But she's not tending her land, so she's not looking after things. Like Kalor's been doing that for her.
Well,
so which is kind of part of why he got put there. By Soinnarios' mother. Are all these politics making sense? There's a lot going on.
Yes.
In
So
the family.
my next question is actually just I would like to push that forward, but it might be better just for my mom to take it from there. I don't know.
You were probably right about that.
Because I don't
given
think I have
your like unmarriable, childable situation, like you're of.
I'm not doing my part in the clan, am I?
You are. Well, you're useful because you're a direct connection to the temple of Yolorna, but you're not really capable of like having a family, and so it's hard to have you manage land or you be given a land grant because you're not going to work it yourself.
I don't
like
want
obviously, and you're not going to be able to marry a man to do it for you, which is kind of how the clan typically works.
Sounds good.
So yeah. So it's you have limited voice inside bloodline politics. And leaning on your mother is probably the best way to do that. And she's interested in it too because there's a bunch of new land there, and so you should obviously try to get a piece of it.
Exactly.
Cool. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So you'll lean on your mom. She's very receptive to it. Your mom will then take it from there and kind of try to finagle that. Soinnarios, what are you kind of looking at? Are you eyeballing anything here?
Yes.
Do you want a big chunk of land? Is it time?
You gotta settle down and farm now.
You're gonna become a rancher,
Well,
Baroness?
Instead of Yellowstone, it's Feldstone. Ever watched an episode?
Neither have I.
But yeah, I think it might be a good idea to push for some for myself. I might need to get some Carls, or half Carls, if that's possible.
Okay, so yeah, half Carls are a thing. They're just free men who don't have enough land to maintain a full set of oxen for plowing, so they have to share with another half Carl basically to make a full team. Not uncommon. So they would plow less land than a full and this is in the model in which everybody is farming, but they would just be people of like more status than a Cotter but less status than a full Carl, less resources. So they're going to be relatively easy to move in and grab some people to do that. So you're wanting what, like a hide?
I think so.
Okay, so you would want your own household. Are you
Mhm.
moving out of your mom's place?
No,
Okay, so
Aren't
you
you
just
gonna
want
have
to manage this land.
or even the thing is, you could do a hide. We could either try to do plants, or the kind of land it is, you could extend a herd or something.
Right, yeah. No, herding would be the land's ideal use. And that's one thing that your clan has often struggled with is that you're relatively crop rich and cattle poor as a clan because you don't have a lot of good herding land or grazing land. It's part of why you've wanted this territory for quite a while. So if you wanted to manage, like, so basically you're saying like I want a hide of it to manage, but I don't actually want to herd. Like, is that kind of what
Yeah, because
you would
you can
want?
get good. I'm looking long term as I need to be landed. And I need to prove myself in regular Arnaldan ways. That way, my mom leaves me alone, which is never going to happen. Because there's also thing I could get like a hide or something, and then basically lease it, rent it, whatever, to my cousin if he's able to utilize a bit more, since he works well.
Okay. All right, that makes there's some sense to that. I see what you're saying. Let's okay, so I'm gonna want both of you to make man, what would be the most appropriate thing for this?
Can succeed at?
You crazy people.
That's what I'm
Yeah. Yeah, roll against your bow skill for this. Like just
thinking. Hit the
strong
mark.
negotiations,
Could be
right?
against a
Like
passion,
yeah, I'm trying to think about what I think would be most appropriate here.
communication, but I'm gonna fail that.
Speak Tarshite.
Speak Tarshite, yeah. Probably orate would be like your kind of like general, like you're trying to convince people of something.
Yay!
Orate's still a skill, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, good.
I was yay sarcastically my odds of succeeding. I rolled a 54 against my 20, so I did not succeed with my oratory.
Okay, but this is a place you could use passions.
So how do those work now?
That's a good question. Let's
explore the system.
explore the system. Yeah, like in the index, the online index is so good, or like the not the online but the PDF index is so like you click the down arrow for skills and the only thing it gives you is the language tree. Everything else you just have to roll through or search. Okay, so
I have the paper book in my hand, but Passions has about 50 listings.
I know it's yeah. There are things about the book that could be better. Let's say
I mean, it
that.
has one at least.
Yeah, it has an index, and it is at least it doesn't have the like D&D 5e index issue where instead of just telling you, it'll route you to another index entry.
Oh,
Like
there you go.
under defense, look under dodge. Okay, cool. But can't you just give me the page number? Like, do you really need to send me to a different like index entry to get the page number?
Passions is 233 in the book.
For all our listeners at home, yeah, we don't really understand the system either. Like,
That's what this is
we're,
about, is trying to figure the system out as we move.
we're just playing.
Loyalty of love. Should also
Right.
note the passions are new in this version. Using may attempt to be inspired by their passion and request a passion roll to augment a skill. You can only use it once in the scene. But you can use it in battle and stuff. Could have used it for my insight, though it wouldn't help. An adventurer does not get to make an inspiration roll.
Right. So you can test against a rune or you can test against a passion.
Okay, so if you get a success, you get plus 20% to your ability. A
Yes.
special success is plus 30. A critical
Yes.
is plus 50.
Yes.
If you try this and you get a failure, you take minus 10.
Yes.
So I would like to take my passion, my loyalty. I'm going to use my loyalty to my family, which is 60%.
Yeah, that's super acceptable. And remember that you will get skill checks in these now.
Ooh. And I rolled exactly 60. So therefore I get a plus 20% on my orate.
Excellent. Good work.
There's also a charm skill, by the way, now.
Yeah. I don't think that's as appropriate for this.
I don't either. I was just noting it.
Yeah.
So with that bonus, I did successfully orate.
Excellent. Good work. And then Soinnarios, how are you wanting to? Were you wanting to use an augment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do family. 13 against the 60. So, like, get my plus 20%.
Okay, cool.
And so I rolled a 20 against now a 65 orate.
Okay, nice. Okay. So both of you succeeded at this. And then you also did make sure that you got, like, you have other invested parties. So like Kaylor is interested, his wife is interested. Obviously, Kathea's mom is leaning as well in this direction, which gives you some more support. So I think in the face of that, let's like, you're gonna get what you want. So let's talk
Yay.
about what that looks like. You're gonna get some hidage that
I like
Soinnarios, you are managing. It is yours, basically, to look after. It's really the bloodlines, the families, but you're being assigned the duty of looking after it. Your mother agrees that this would be a good test for you to kind of learn how it is to actually manage a property and a household and workers and things like that. So she's fine with it. She would have been more against it if you weren't pitching it as something for you to do, actually. So if it was just give Kaylor something nice, she would have been more had problems with it.
So basically, it's going to be a Soinnarios, and Kaylor's going to get to manage it because Soinnarios is going to be off adventuring.
Sort of. I mean, you're going to spend a lot of time at home.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, he's a herder, and so he'll manage the herd aspect. But you still need to manage, like, you'll have some other herders there beyond him. Like, you're being assigned, let's say, 2 hides of this land.
Ooh.
And so Kaylor will manage one of them directly because it's his land, and then you'll have some other like half Carls or Carls who are also herding on it, but they're all subordinate to you in this venture. Like, they're not yours, they're not your employees, but it is your land. And so as long as they do, like, you're assigned to manage it. So as long as they are doing a good job, that's all great. But if they're bad at it, you can, you know, be like, hey, you're doing a bad job. You got to stop doing a bad job, or else we're going to, like, reduce your social status and put someone else on this land. And, I mean, you have some influence over these people because they're not people that the clan would necessarily trust to manage land by themselves, like, without someone looking over their shoulder. So that happens. Let's see. So you would have a couple of families who are less trusted. You have Kaylor, who's very capable, but on the political outs in the clan, and his wife and his kids.
Is there any way is there any way for his wife to ever get accepted?
It's going to be hard, because she's not from the clan, but she's here getting clan lands and clan food and clan assistance and clan help and all that stuff, but she's not actually a part of the clan. Your clan's matrilineal, so, like, she doesn't have, like, she married into the clan, but she married into the clan by marrying a man, and you marry men out of the clan. Like, so she's gonna have a lot of struggles.
A scheme I'm going to work on.
Okay,
We can get to it later when
All
you're
right.
ready for me.
I hear you. Okay, so that's gonna happen. Let's.
Didn't realize
Trying to
we
think
didn't
what- I
get caught
think-
up in family politics to this point.
There's a lot of it. There's so much of
No,
it.
it's
Like, we
great,
haven't
but it's
really-
interesting. I built the traditional adventurer who is like, nah, family, which is fine because I've ran so many that were tied to family in Glorantha, so it's just sort of interesting. It's like, well, I can meddle from the outside because nobody can really control my future too much. I mean, the worst
Right,
case,
yeah.
Must be nice.
Yeah, you're in a really interesting place because you really don't have any. The only thing you can do for your clan is rise in your cult. Like, that's.
But I do feel like my mother and my siblings all support me. Like, I feel like I have in some ways the kind of close knit family.
Yeah, you do. Like, you have a very warm, loving family. Not that Soinnarios' parents don't love her. There's just a lot going on. So the family is complicated. Like, the bloodline is a complicated one, and the fact that you belong to, like, a recognized bloodline does make you all kind of like pseudo nobility. Like, there's only, like, usually 2 or 3 actual bloodlines in a clan, and they're not always, like, the same ones across all of time. Like, it's a sub clan basically, like a group of more closely related people who are working together on this project. So that's something. I think what I want to do, just to tie things neatly together, is say that this hidage that you've been awarded is centered on the 3 stead Three Halstead.
The one we
That
took.
way, yeah, the one that you captured. That
Seems fair.
way, yeah. I mean, it makes sense. It's a space that can that already has buildings to accommodate several families because it probably had a similar structure going on. Like there would have been like the Thane there, and then he would have had several hides of land that he would have had.
So we basically
families
just
working.
took their land, kicked them out, and took their house over.
That is what happened. Yes, like that was
There's
always
part of me
going
that
to be
almost
the
feels a
case.
little guilty about that.
Nope. They made their choice.
All right, so you have different approaches to this emotionally, but yeah, no, that is what happened. And just abstractly, that was what was always going to happen, right? Was that you were going to take land that they were living on and using and make it your own. But in this case, it was literally like the two of you took this person's house and now you're living in it, sort of.
I also have a little bit of guilt about the fact that 3 people died and 2 of them were at my hand.
That's true. Like that's something to think about too. To be fair, you did one shot both of them. It's not like you stood there and hacked them down over and over until they were dead. Like it was I shot an arrow at someone and it hit them in the face, and that was the end of that person, which
and they
happens
melted.
sometimes.
My God, yeah. I say they kind of look like that one guy in the end of Indiana Jones.
The way I kind of envisioned the first guy was that the arrow went into his head. So like, and it's all kind of gory. So I apologize to anyone who's not cool with that. But like, I had described him in the last session as having smoke like boiling like out of his ears and nose and eyes and mouth. Like, so like he kind of got cooked.
Is this
the other one?
Does this affect like our runes? Does my death rune start to go up as I kill people?
That's a good question. You didn't channel it, and you're not really trying to improve it, so probably not.
Okay.
Like, but it could. I mean, you could definitely make the argument during downtime that, you want to push your death room harder because of, or as a character, as a player, you think it's appropriate for that to happen to your character.
I would think it's appropriate. I don't think she wants to, but I think it would happen.
Okay, that makes sense. We will definitely revisit that then when we start doing some downtime activities and temple stuff. We're not quite there. So we're going to move Kalor and his family to Three Halstead. We're going to move a couple of others there as well. Some NPCs that you guys will need to name and stuff, or I can come up with names because you'll be interacting with them semi-regularly while you're in the clan lands, like while you're not off adventuring, since you're overseeing them now, or Soinnarios is more properly.
As far as I'm concerned, you can name them all Soinnarios, since it's yours.
I might use a different naming convention now that we're speaking instead of just typing.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of names are going to get shorter and easier to say.
Well, they can be nicknames,
which is fantastic because we got a few that were a little rough. Soinnarios' mom's name is not easy to pronounce. Most of them are okay, but like Bagan is fine. Arvor, Venora, Enmarav is not too bad. But like Kalma and Ethna, that's I don't know. It's a lot of hard syllables that require different tongue shapes. Yeah, Kalma or something like that. There's just a few that I'm like, ugh, these are a little rough. But it's not too bad. So we'll look at that. Okay, so question for Kathea.
Yes.
Are you going to stay with your parents, or do you want to move out to the Three Halstead? You have that option.
What's your opinion, Soinnarios?
You have a room.
I almost feel like I should move out there if for no other reason than if anything flares up, you have me there. Not that I doubt your abilities, but that's kind of my thing, is to protect my
right.
People.
Okay.
I will probably actually have a room or a spot at both, and I probably stay at the temple quite often, so I probably move around a fair amount.
So you bounce around between locations, but you now
as long as everybody's okay with that.
I think that makes sense. Okay, okay, good.
I was gonna say I think my main spot actually might be at the temple. If that's okay.
Absolutely, yeah, that would make sense if you're trying to deepen those connections and work on your cult standings. And I know that your character has a personal ambition there beyond just the clan stuff. Is that she is really. My impression is that she's fairly dedicated. Like she wants she's one of those girls who grew up dreaming about being a unicorn rider and is really going that route.
Yes, she's going that route hard. All the family stuff she's very into because she's personally and emotionally invested in it, but she has no doubts at all about her path.
Right.
For
No, that makes
herself.
sense. Absolutely. No, I like that. Okay, so that's you settled. Soinnarios, are you moving out to the Three Homestead, or are you staying with your mother's house?
I should move out there.
I would say, on the other hand, you might want to stay with your mother to keep your so you don't get sidelined politically. But maybe if you move out there and do well, that's the best way to do it.
There's a lot to think about. There are advantages to staying closer to the clan hall, to staying closer to your mother. There are disadvantages too, and I mean, you are a newly adult, teenaged person with a fairly controlling mother. Like,
It's not that far to ride out back and forth too if you want to stay close, but it's not that far to come back either.
Well, I think I need to move out there, otherwise.
You need to get yourself a husband. I'll remind you of that one out there since your mom's not around. When are you gonna go find yourself?
oh goodness, you're all terrible. Just terrible. So you want? I mean, I would assume that Soinnarios' instinct is like, I can move out and be on my own.
Yeah.
Like, there's
Well,
got to be something appealing about that.
Move out on my own, but also, if I don't move out there, every conversation is going to be, well, how's your homestead? How's the stead?
Yeah.
How's the stead?
Yeah.
So
That's very true. Like,
So
you're
you
not
can
wrong.
go-
Now, remember, you are leaving behind a solid half a dozen younger siblings.
it
Unless
doesn't
you
mean
take one or two with you.
That's not an option, no. You can't just decide, like, this one is mine now. You're coming with me. Like, that's not going to be a thing.
no,
So
but,
you are. I mean, Soinnarios is the second oldest of 8 children.
doesn't mean I
There's
can't
a
stop
lot of
by and check on things or spin thread or whatever. But it needs to be me visiting, not me living there right now. So
No, that makes sense. That's perfectly sensible. You are left with the uncanny impression that this is a reward you've been given for considering a suitor. Like, hey, you're making good moves, so I'm going to let you have a little more leash. Like, you can.
yeah, it's okay if you bash the occasional skull in, as long as you consider marriage and kids.
Right, yeah.
Welcome to
Like,
Orlando culture.
perfectly sensible. It all makes so much sense. All right, so I know we're a little before stopping time, but I am kind of out of stuff for us to do right now. Is there anything that you two would like to address before we start closing things down?
I can give you my my meddling. I'm gonna go work on Learn the Sorrowful.
Okay.
A couple ideas, and I have to see how they play out. She was not managing her land.
No, she's been pretty, like, we would call it depression, right? Like, she's suffered a lot of losses, and she's just depressed. Basically, she's not being very active or doing very much.
She's got one son at home. It looks like, who's got to be getting about age to move out.
He'd be like 12.
Oh, okay. No.
Yeah, so no, he's still got a few years.
Has married one off.
And that's actually, well, no, Learned. Sorry, I'm misreading this. Learned has Arvor married off.
Yeah.
Vernora
Oh, the sons are grandchildren.
died. Yeah. Imdar is the little boy I was looking, or Barian was the boy I'm looking at, but that's actually a grandchild.
Yep. I was messed up there. So does she
No,
have
you're good,
any
yeah.
children left? Arvor. Well, Arvor's gone,
Arvor,
though,
yeah,
too.
but he married off. He's in a clan in the Prince Rose tribe, so he's pretty far away. He doesn't come around regularly.
So we need to be staging somebody to take over all her land, or to help her. One of the two.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. And
Here's the other one is I know she was working before, but maybe if she had somebody like the Soinnara around, she would kind of adopt her a little bit more and treat her. I don't know. I have this thing I want to help my sister-in-law out. I don't know. Probably can't.
Right. Yeah.
I'm trying.
Is going to be a tough case. It's just she's in an awkward spot. Like, it's just not how it works for your clan. Like, men don't stay and marry women into the clan. That's not a thing. Like, it's not how you do things. Like, you marry your men off and the women are the clan. Like, but she's a clan member now because she married a clan member, but the clan member was supposed to go, and she doesn't have any blood connection. So she's a woman of your clan who isn't related to anybody in the clan except by marriage, and that's not how it should be. But no
Yeah.
one consulted. Like Kalor rescued, like he freed her from slavery, fell in love with her, and married her, like while out on an adventure.
So will her children be okay?
Yeah, like they're not gonna be like mostly okay. I would say mostly okay. They were born here. They would have a blood connection through Kalor, even though descent's matrilineal, but they're gonna be part of the clan because she doesn't have one. So they'll be
Sorry,
in better
I'm getting
shape.
distracted on
Yeah.
that, but that's kind
No,
of
you're
where
fine.
I'm gonna meddle a
There's
bit on that. But I'm gonna spend a lot of time at clan and a lot of time at the temple, probably during our downtime, training and working and meditating, and then the rest of the time probably helping work out at our stead.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll
Yeah.
get some rolls together and go over those things in the next session for sure. And so just kind of keep those things in mind and maybe make some notes for yourself.
I was mostly letting you know it, so any prep
Yeah.
you need to do.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I appreciate it too. And yeah, there's a lot of convoluted stuff going on inside the clan. Like even just your bloodline is like a little rat's nest of politics that we could spend sessions on probably. But
But we could
I don't know
probably
that we
use some
need to.
sessions away from the clan.
That true, yeah. I mean, and that's Earth season should see some of that. Like we'll go through downtime for fire season. There's not going to be any more big events going on really, unless one of you pushes something, and then in Earth season we'll do some sort of adventure.
I don't
That's
know.
kind of how.
Those Mandarians would be a lot better off if they got a new chief.
You're not wrong, right? Like you might very well be right about that.
So maybe we should go work on that.
Right, sure, yeah. Why not?
Just
I
So
feel
in
for
ours-
them. I now realize that it's not the clan. They just had incredibly poor leadership.
They have a bad leader. Yeah, if it's just what a foolish thing to have happen. So in Arios, do you have any stuff like that, like ideas about what you want to do with your downtime or anything?
I think just settling in and getting the land going.
Okay, cool.
Will
Yeah,
take
and
a
we'll,
lot
like I
of
said,
time.
when we, yeah, it will. It will take a substantial amount of time. You've got to refurnish some of that stuff at the stead. You've got to work on sourcing some cattle, probably. I mean, you captured some, so you have some of that already. But yeah, you'll have to kind of get some of that stuff sorted out, and that'll take some time and effort. And like I said, we'll go over it on downtime. So just have an idea of what sort of roles you want to make for skills to test. So something to be aware of. We kind of glossed over it because we were coming out of the email campaign. But when we do downtime, you assign what skills you want to be your like culture and religion skills before you roll your adventure skills. So you can't double up on them. Like if you use
I
your
think
bow.
last time you had us do that too. So we'll do our
Right.
experience ones that we got from this adventure next time, and any downtime ones.
Right, and you can't, like, if you have a
Can't double.
downtime roll, it can't be an adventure roll as well. So like if you can't double dip on bow, for instance.
Right.
Like which I think they're just trying from a meta perspective. I think they're trying to keep people from really going like full ham on like one or two skills.
No, I like that. That makes sense.
Yeah, so that's kind of what it looked like to me anyways. But yeah, so put a little thought into what you want to do for skills and downtime actions. We will go through both seasonal holy days for your characters, so that'll be kind of fun to see. And then we'll cast an eye towards an Earth Season adventure. All right, so if that sounds good and there are no further questions, I think we'll go ahead and close it out. All right, awesome. So that's the end of this one. We'll see you all next time.